remember what I mentioned to you about Michael.
You saw me standing alone.
If you're going to continue to work with him,
without a dream in my heart,
I would be very cautious.
Without a thought about my own.
Do not let Michael take you down with him. Don't do that. Okay? I mean that.
Hello guys, Zach here, and this is a mini episode for Articulate Warblin's YouTube page. Today I shall be reviewing Hacked. Now, Hacked is a film by Matthew Fessel and Matt Leal. If I've mispronounced his surname, there's no different from any other fucking day. I came across Matthew and Matt online, and they were getting together a crowdfunder for their next feature film. And I'd seen their poster around on Facebook for their debut film that they co-directed together, co-composed together, co-edited together, called Hacked. And I just inquired one day whether they were doing a live giveaway, exclusive and, you know, very special perks that comes with crowdfunding online. And Hacked was one of them. So I contributed, and as a perk, I got Hacked. Now, coming away from watching this, I'm a bit biased because I've contributed a little bit towards their next filmic venture, having not watched anything that they've created, but really liking them both personality-wise and as just artists and creators. They seem really cool, down to earth, and just all about the art. And just, you know, anyone willing to talk about horror, it's, you know, horror's my thing. And anyone who can hold a good debate and discussion, it's just nice. It's actually, you know, it was a nice evening where they were doing a live giveaway, and they're talking backwards and forwards between people online about films, recent watches, opinions. And it's just nice to have general debate and discussion, because usually it's an echo chamber of negativity online. So anyway, I've got Hacked. Got it almost a month ago, 3.5 weeks ago, and I've just come away from watching it, and wow, Matthew Fessel and Matt Leal, these guys have crafted an outstanding piece of cinema. Anyway, Matt Fessel stars as Michael, the co-host to a popular podcast that he does with his friend Darren, and it is a leading show on a growing podcast platform. But something's going on. Though there's an incline in popularity, there is also a decline. People aren't really enamoured by Michael. And during all of this, we see Michael has been blindsided and shut out from the podcast that he helped create with Darren. So Michael as a character, his passion, his way of voicing himself, is picked apart by the podcast producers, really leaning in and wanting to get rid of Michael, whilst also wanting to pair Darren with another of their most popular podcast hosts with his own show, both centred upon serial killers and real crime. And even his co-host Darren is quite hot on pulling them apart, and I cannot help but look on this film and say, I get it. I can see where Michael is coming from with his frustrations and his anger, and where the film will take us to with his actions and his distorting of reality and delusion. A blurred line, and cleverly and crafted with much care, there's a juxtaposition with the quality, though it's confined within this very generic, almost cliche trope of having a horror movie, a low budget, lo-fi, DIY, do-it-yourself movie being done via webcam and that footage. There's a great distinction. Most of reality is caught on the webcam, whereas the more heightened unreality is captured on a very high resolution cinematic camera. This film captures it on a visual level, where reality and delusions get confused for Michael the character. But it isn't very much confused for us as an audience. We are just looking out vicariously witnessing this character's disintegration. This movie isn't just a horror movie. It's not full of jump scares. It isn't all about jump scares or full-on gore. It's about character and tension, emboldened and pushed by a fantastic score done, again, by Matthew and Matt, who together co-directed, co-wrote, co-edited, co-scored this fabulous film. Throughout, the dread is slowly creeping. It's a creeping sensation that something is going to come. It is going to occur. It's ever pervading in this brilliantly made independent horror film. First of all, for a movie shot on a minimal budget, it looks gorgeous. I've watched films with a budget larger than this that haven't got as close to looking as cinematic as Hacked does. Spree, for example, that I've reviewed on Articulate Warbling, with its gore gags, its supposed edge-of-your-seat pacing, it doesn't hold up to this film's quality. There's a bravery. I love the camera's willingness to hold on our actors. Now, a lot of people may argue, but it's a webcam, you can't do much, it's static, it's in one position. With the current way of films, where we take a trope and almost a filmic gimmick and device and way of telling the story, as, made popular by Unfriended, with much larger budgets, what the filmmakers do is they try to sell to us something that is benefited by a bigger budget, that they can do bigger, more effects-driven things. They can tell stories on a broader scale. Whereas it just shows it up for the hackiness that it is. The bravery of Matthew and Matt's vision here is they hold the shots. They let the actors perform. And this film is spearheaded by a masterful performance by Matthew Fessel. So engaging, so sympathetic, but there's an unpredictability to his predictability. You kind of predict where he is going, what is going to come about. It's very interesting to witness, though there's a predictability in the unpredictability. Even though you have an inkling of where this is going, even subjected in and around the genre and the film you're watching and the usual predictabilities, and you can see it coming from a mile away, it is just something to behold and witness, that this performance on a performative level, it is quite unlike anything that anyone else I feel could carry it off or cross as. I've never seen a performance like this in a horror film. Not ever. I admire both Matthew and Matt's tenacity in allowing the characters to be totally exposed and hardly ever cut around with the confines of the film's cinematic structure. Like I said before, with these webcam films, even though you don't go anywhere else, they try and make it punchy, and I think the reality of a webcam is you're exposed, your whole expressions, the whole of yourself is there, and it takes very strong performances and actors to keep you going along. Not once do I watch this and I'm taken out of it, I don't believe it. Every actor is on top of their game, especially Matthew and Jackson Turner. Really great on-screen chemistry, and you can feel it, the emotion, the frustration on the end of Darren, but also the greater and more underappreciated frustration from Michael, Matthew's character. And even though it's a webcam film, the film is not cut. It's no cutaways. There's no form of almost imposition to try and get the film going. What makes it tenacious, which makes it punchy and rhythmic and have that edge of your seat edge, is the total exposure of the actor, the vulnerabilities, the total and honest truth on screen. The reality is via the webcam, and the reality exhumed from the performers. Matthew is sensational on screen. Sensational. I love the juxtaposition of the webcam footage that captures reality. Like, most of this film is based within and online, with the fictional elements captured on a high-resolution camera. It is perfectly balanced. Together, co-director, co-composer, co-editor, with Matthew and Matt, they have made a very unique and wholly original film. I can't give it anything but 5 stars. I was on the edge of my seat. I was leaning in. Just the total raw emotion and the reality of it. Now, a lot of people can say that's lent by the confines of the webcam trope and MacGuffin and that filmic device, but I think it's the bravery of the directors to hold that. They're affirmed in the story they're telling via performances, via the score, via the juxtaposition in between the filmic camera and the reality webcam camera. I absolutely love this film, and I recommend you seek it out wherever you can, not illegally. Loved it. 5 stars. Could not recommend it enough.